thank you very much to be here today. I'm so happy to share this with you today. I'm going to do a book haul of the month. I really love books, and right now we are investing in some books that we already read before, but we just do not have it in our library. So that's actually why I have a lot of them that I already read it, but we don't have like in today lecture time, the reading time, something like that, because maybe say, oh, you can't read so fast, and eventually I read fast, but not that much. But there's a lot of books that I love before, so I want it in our library. So that's it. The first book that I want to share is Leaf of Grass of Walt Whitman. It's not illustrated, but it's a luxury edition. It's a medium weight, but it have like a golden edges. The bead is 100% hard by hand. You can see it because this one, you can see like the glue is really refined in it, and also like the little how was placed, like the edition was placed very truly beautiful, and I love it. I think this is like full literature is like it's just gorgeous, and you enjoy it a lot. I personally recommend this for everyone, but I think during my teen years it was like golden piece and price in my life. It's very different. I think that it's not like casual romantic, but it's beautiful. It's a different way to see life. It's not that just fantastic or magical or mainstream. It's just totally different and simple and beautiful. So the next one, to be honest, I want the full collection of the Bronte sisters, but however I can't afford that right now. And my favorite book is Jane Eyre, and the one that I already read before, to be honest, so that's why I decided to post this one in that time, because it's really beautiful and I'm really going to know that I love it. I mean that it's not like say, oh, I spent some money in things that I'm not going to like. This one is a very beautiful edition. The compile of all the sisters Bronte books wasn't that beautiful, so however I decided this one that is beautiful. It's not illustrated, but it's a very quality edition. Eventually I really like it that it's new, like the paint is flexible, you know what I mean? It's very flexible, you can use it and open, and also it's a very good quality. It also have like the mark inside that I think is very beautiful. This book is a classic, but it's very beautiful, it's very different, and it's kinda romantic. It's different because it's not Jane Austen, but it is still classy and historically novel. So very cool. And the next one, of course, when I see Jane Austen, I don't mean like it was, I think, a bad thing. Eventually, I love her. I love all of her literature. Eventually, it's very romantic, not like Pretty Difference, but I love it. I mean, it's so cool. You learn a lot. and eventually show a lot of different or not common mentally situation. Also, you can learn about individuality even in that age that is not that common in, at least in women. But however, this book is a very good quality. The page is hard. It's not illustrated, of course, like the letters are very short, but they are beautiful, and it is the complete novels of Jane Austen. I want to have them like one by one, but I saw this one in the library, and I just have like some points because I spent so much in books, so I was able to afford this one, and that is a very good quality. I'm going to have all the books there, and the other books are in that good quality. They still being expensive, so I decided for this one that is so beautiful. The paint is beautiful, and it's very, very, very nice. So actually, I love the English vocabulary that I have in these novels of Jane Austen. I don't know, it's like so, I don't know, it's so fancy, it's so, I don't know, that is beautiful. This is the next one, is like a short story, is Torah Takitani. It's actually, I think, is an Afro-Japanese guy that wrote this one. Is a really sad story for whoever is short, and I think it's a little bit nihilist, probably very inspired of Nietzsche, things like that, but it's so sad. But eventually I think it's a really good quality book, very different. Eventually, if you're sad, don't read it because it's not that kind of books that you need in that bad moment, but it's so beautiful. The illustration is that Ignacy font, and they're so beautiful, so simple, beautiful. Eventually, they are not really minimalist, but they are simple. The color palette is very, very similar. I don't know how to say, but I don't want to say that plain, but it's very well done. With plain, I don't mean that's something bad. In this case, I mean that is a really good quality because it makes you feel that it is a structure into the history, among the history. So it's beautiful. Actually, it's story, not history. So beautiful, good recommendation. Actually, I think my boyfriend doesn't like that much this book, but however, I think it's different. It eventually set. It gives you like a sour taste. Eventually, I think that's it, but it is good. The other one I want to share is Azul de Rubén Darío. It's the illustration by Luisa Rivera, and I think it's 100% beautiful. I think that I recommended this one in St. Valentine's gift. So whoever is very beautiful, the paint is very high quality, the illustration is beautiful. You can, of course this is not by hand, but you can see that it was glued very carefully, that the colors are very beautiful, and the letter is good and it's beautiful, and I really love this book. Like, it's very different. Like, I'm thinking like Whitman and Rubén Darío is like eventually the opposite, but they're so beautiful, and I really appreciate that kind of difference, of different aesthetics, that I think that is so good because you learn. The next one that I want to share is Mujercitas or Little Women. I have that in Spanish that I didn't mention before. Azul is in Spanish, and Haruki Murakami it is also in Spanish. There was ones they are in English, but this one is in Spanish, and I'm so happy because I read this book like 100 years ago, and I love it. I was like in second year of high school, but however I love it, and that's the first time that I have it. I am so happy because this one is a very good quality illustrated version by G. Hilsenfeld, and it's so beautiful. The color is so Little Woman. I think it's a very good quality. The illustration is very romantic, very aesthetic, very classy, so cute. I think it's like so sweet eventually, and the letter is good. Everything, the titles are very well done, so good. The color palette is good, and I love it. And the paint is very good quality and so good. I love it. This is the next one, and I know this is so simple and easy. It wasn't. I didn't buy this. It was a gift for some friend of our family. That is so beautiful, and it's in Spanish. And the Herman of Hemingway is so beautiful. I think it's one of the best books that I have ever read. Is eventually sad but cool. I don't know how to describe it, but it's so, it gives you energy in some way because it's so hard, and it gives you hope. I don't know, it's like, it's about a person who is extremely strong in life, and I think it's one of the most beautiful books that I have ever read. To be honest, that's the first time that I read it, and beautiful. I just can't say that. It's beautiful. This edition is so simple, but eventually this is what we have in our libraries. Maybe in a vintage library you can find another edition more beautiful with the things that it deserves. This one is actually the scholar version. We have like some part of vocabulary of different things, but I 100% recommend this. Of course, the paint is very cheap, but not eventually bad quality. It is 100% glued, and it is flexible, and it is the common edition of the most common edition of the Bolsillo. But it is very beautiful, a really good book. Here I have these treasures here, and eventually say treasures because they are treasures. These are two vintage books. They are in French, and I almost faint when my boyfriend and I found these in a vintage store. This is Anna Karenina of Leonto's toy, and they are so beautiful. They are so high quality. They are doing by hand and in a very hand quality of handmade, because you can see that the glue, they are glued very good. This board, and eventually it's illustrated like so cool. I don't know, the titles are so cool. They are so beautiful, and that's it. I mean, they look old. They look very old. Of course, they have some parts that they are damaged, but I know this is a treasure and I love it. I am so happy. They eventually are very expensive itself, but they are so beautiful. This is another book that I want to share. This is an illustrated book by Santiago Caruso of El Príncipe de Maquiavelo. Of course, this is in Spanish and I love it. I think it's one of the most beautiful illustrated edition that I saw of Príncipe de Maquiavelo, and they are eventually the very good quality. The paint is hard. This is not handmade, but you can see that it is very good quality. They sear it and it's actually golden itself. The illustration is very beautiful. It have a color palette and the work is almost in ink and it is so beautiful. And I love it, and this is a good in terms of literature, this is a high quality book. Like, I think is a must to read in our life. Let's see. The other one is this one. I think this was not a thing that we really need, because we have I think we have almost all the books of Edgar Allan Poe, because I really like how he writes. Eventually, it's not my type, because the Gothic literature is not eventually my happiest moment in life, because they're so dark and so nihilist and etc. But they are so eccentric at the same time, and I feel like I like in some way to frighten it myself. But however, I really like this edition. It's like, to be honest, it's not a beautiful edition, but it's a good quality edition. It's not a really well done, because you can see like the glue parts that they didn't very careful. Actually, there is a computer paint. Of course, this is a computer cover design that is not bad. There's a lot of them that are so beautiful, but this one, I mean, there's not like so much in the composition. They just put like Edgar Allan Poe and that and the name of the people who collaborated of that traduction to Spanish, but they are so beautiful, so different, so interesting. And if you like literature, it's like a must, because you're going to learn a lot. And I think like if you like if you don't like maybe the story of Edgar Allan Poe, I think like he writes in a very beautiful and aesthetic way. His narration was very, very, very gorgeous and good and elegant. So I think that's very, very, very good. So this is a luxury treasure that we bought in the same vintage store that we bought Anna Karenina, and this is so beautiful. This is a real treasure. It is 100% handmade, traditional Japanese handmade. That is so beautiful. Also, it's sadly because it is a little bit damaged, but it is 100% beautiful. We are so happy that we show you. There's all of them like in a handmade handwriting. Also, they have like the stamp, the traditional stamp that in Japan is like the signature. All of it is handmade. The illustration is handmade. The paper is handmade. It talks about the religion and traditional and the cultural assignments forever for all the places that have died sanctuaries, and it is beautiful. Eventually, to be honest, I don't understand anything. I'm so happy that my boyfriend can't do it because I can't, and he is so lucky because he understands Japanese and he knows how to write it, he knows how to read it, he knows how to understand it, but I don't. But I think this is a 100% a treasure because it's 100% traditional handmade, and it is eventually so old that maybe one museum is looking for it, but I don't care. I want it and we bought for it. And however, I hope that maybe one day I can understand it, and it is 100% beautiful. And the last one is not, for me it's a treasure. I can't eat gluten in the last years, and it was not like a big deal for me, to be honest. It's not like I have a traumatic change in my life, but eventually I was feeling that our dishes in our common supper times, we don't have that variety that I want. So of course I need like some solutions, some different ideas, and I think that book provide me. It's a kitchen book of a very good quality. The stain is the paint is very good. It's hard and actually divided very good. The first part they explain to you some tips, some different products that you can use, some brands that you can afford that they don't have like additional chemicals and things like that. They have divided the breakfast, desserts, the main dishes, different things. I love it. I have made a lot of them. I'm so happy with this book. Maybe you are not able to eat gluten too, and this is a really good option, and I love it. The dishes are beautiful, and eventually they are affordable. It's not that thing that you have to buy like, I don't know. It's because there's a lot of different glutenous out there. You have to pout like the middle super traditional eccentric different ingredients that you don't have commonly. So 100% recommend, and that's it. That's all the book haul that I want to share with you. I hope that you liked. Maybe it's so different, but if you like books, I hope that you like it. You have different options, or maybe you feel inspired of it. So thank you very much to be here one day more, and just don't forget, if you like it, don't forget to comment and subscribe and keep up with us. So thank you very much. See you later.